At the beginning of the movie, John Murdoch wakes up in a dimly lit bathroom feeling scared and confused. He doesn't remember anything about himself, not even his own name. As he explores the room, he finds a briefcase marked with the initials KH. Inside, he discovers a mysterious greeting card from a place called Shell Beach. Although he can't fully remember it, fragments of memories start to emerge. This sets him on a journey to uncover his identity and the secrets of Shell Beach. As John Murdoch picks up the ringing telephone, a voice claiming to be Dr. Schreiber informs him that his memory was wiped in an experiment, and now dangerous men are after him. This revelation only adds to Murdoch's confusion, and before the doctor can explain further, Murdoch abruptly ends the call. Leaving the room, Murdoch discovers he's in a hotel, but his departure is interrupted by the shocking sight of a severely injured woman's body. Terrified, he flees down the hallway, only to encounter three abnormally tall figures with unnaturally pale faces. Their approach sends Murdoch scrambling for safety. In the hotel lobby, Murdoch finds everyone frozen in a strange, lifeless state, including a woman inside an elevator. As the clock strikes 12, all the people in the lobby suddenly come back to life, snapping out of their eerie stillness. John Murdoch finds this sudden change very strange and unsettling, prompting him to leave the hotel immediately. Shortly after Murdoch's departure, the mysterious men arrive at the hotel reception desk and inquire about Murdoch's whereabouts. When the receptionist is unable to provide them with any information, they inject him with a mysterious substance and kill him. Elsewhere, a stage performer named Emma receives an urgent message from Dr. Schreiber, prompting her to meet with him immediately. It's revealed that Emma is John Murdoch's wife. During their meeting, Dr. Schreiber explains that Murdoch's memory has been completely erased and dangerous individuals are searching for him. He asks Emma to contact him right away if she encounters Murdoch. Despite her confusion, Emma agrees to Dr. Schreiber's request. In the following scene, the local police, led by Inspector Bumstead, arrive at the hotel crime scene to investigate. They discover that it's the 6th murder in the past month, all marked with a distinctive spiral symbol. Since John Murdoch has been staying at the hotel, Inspector Bumstead quickly becomes suspicious of him. Bumstead calls Emma to the police station and informs her about her husband's suspected involvement in the crimes. He urges her to cooperate with the authorities and turn Murdoch in, as he is now a wanted criminal. As Murdoch wanders through the city, feeling lost and frightened, he arrives at a location that fills him with discomfort. To his surprise, he notices that his fingerprints are glowing. Moments later, he comes across a Shell Beach advertisement board, identical to the one depicted on the greeting card he found earlier. Driven by curiosity, Murdoch climbs up the advertisement board. Suddenly, he's confronted by the 3 tall men he encountered before, who introduce themselves as the Strangers. One of them attempts to use his powers to make Murdoch fall asleep, but to their surprise, it doesn't work. Before they can react, Murdoch taps into his own telekinetic abilities and overpowers the 3 strangers, leaving them stunned and confused. Later, we're brought to the Strangers' hideout, a vast underground compound. Everyone is stunned to learn that Murdoch has telekinetic powers just like them. It's revealed that Murdoch was involved in an experiment called imprinting, but he managed to escape using his abilities. Now, he's a wanted man for the Strangers, adding to the tension and danger surrounding him. Meanwhile, Emma arrives home from the police station to find Murdoch waiting for her. Although he doesn't recognize her, he knows he lives there because his address is on his business card. When Emma asks where he's been for the past 3 weeks, Murdoch admits he doesn't know. He only discovered his own name when he checked his wallet. During their conversation, Emma reveals that Murdoch is suspected of murdering 6 women. This news shocks him, and he abruptly leaves the place, clearly disturbed by the accusations against him. Just before midnight, the strange men gather in their underground hideout for a meeting. Dr. Schreiber, the only human among them, appears to be the head of their science department. When the clock strikes exactly 12 a.m., the leader of the Strangers, Mr. Book, steps forward and commands everyone to initiate the shutdown process. Upon his command, the Strangers enter a meditative state, causing the entire city above to freeze. People fall asleep wherever they are, and all movement ceases. Even the trains and traffic come to a standstill, which seems strange. Only Murdoch remains unaffected by the strange phenomenon, wandering the city in disbelief. He attempts to wake people up, but nothing seems to rouse them. As large buildings and structures start emerging from the underground, it's clear that a major transformation is happening in the city. The Strangers, along with Dr. Schreiber, head into the city to begin a process called tuning. During tuning, they approach various individuals and inject them with a syringe to wipe their memories clean. After 5 minutes, once all the Strangers have returned underground, the city springs back to life, and everyone wakes up as if nothing happened. But this time, they wake up with no memory of their previous lives and have been given entirely new identities. After the tuning, the strangers turn their attention back to Murdoch. Since capturing him proves difficult, Dr. Schreiber prepares a syringe containing all of Murdoch's subconscious memories. Injecting it into someone would allow them to instantly track Murdoch. In the middle of the confusion, a senior stranger named Mr. Hand steps forward to volunteer. With approval from leader Mr. Book, Mr. Hand is injected with the strange liquid, starting their plan to locate Murdoch. After shaking and trembling for a bit, he eventually wakes up with all of Murdoch's memories. In the following scene, Murdoch heads to the subway in search of Shell Beach. Despite asking around, he discovers that no one remembers the place. Puzzled, he examines the greeting card again and notices the name Carl Harris written on it, the same initials found on the suitcase in the hotel. Following this lead, Murdoch tracks down Carl's address and visits his home. The elderly man reminisces about Murdoch's childhood, but doesn't recall much. When Murdoch asks about the perpetual night, Carl advises him to rest. Meanwhile, Carl secretly calls Emma and alerts her to Murdoch's presence. Emma informs Inspector Bumstead and rushes to the location with him. However, Mr. Hand, tracking Emma via Murdoch's memories, overhears the conversation. Murdoch realizes he's been betrayed and attempts to flee, but the strangers, led by Mr. Hand, ambush him. Murdoch fights back using his telekinetic powers, escaping onto the street where he's surrounded once more. Just as he's about to be captured, Emma and the inspector arrive in their car, rescuing Murdoch from the stranger's grasp. The scene shifts to the police station, where Inspector Bumstead is questioning Murdoch, suspecting him of the murders. But an upset Murdoch turns the tables, asking the inspector if he remembers how to get to Shell Beach. Despite knowing the place, Bumstead can't recall the way. Murdoch then questions why it's always night, and why they have no memories of the day. He challenges how they even know it's a concept if they can't remember it. To demonstrate his point about something supernatural at play, Murdoch makes a book float in the air. After some time, a group of strangers led by Mr. Hand storms into the police station, searching for Murdoch. They use their powers to make all the officers fall asleep and then make their way to the cell. But when they get there, they discover that Murdoch has already gotten away. While at a bathhouse, Murdoch confronts Dr. Schreiber, seeking answers about the city's strange occurrences and why the strangers are targeting him. The doctor soothes Murdoch and explains they're all part of a big experiment orchestrated by the strangers. Suddenly, Inspector Bumstead shows up and takes charge of the situation, revealing he let Murdoch out of custody because he's also seeking answers. Together, they pressure the doctor to guide them to Shell Beach. They hop into a car and set off, but the doctor keeps insisting that going there won't help. Soon after, they encounter a dead end when they find the bridge mysteriously missing, so they opt to continue their journey by boat. During the voyage, Dr. Schreiber finally reveals the truth about the city. He explains that the strangers are actually aliens from another planet. Faced with extinction in their own world, they came to Earth and sought to emulate humanity. However, lacking souls, they created a city and abducted humans from various places to study them. Their goal is to understand humanity fully and save their own race. Every night at midnight, the strangers reset everyone's memories to study different human traits. Their goal is to understand the human soul completely and become like them. Dr. Schreiber adds that he's spared from memory wipes because he's the best psychologist in town. As for the never-ending darkness, it's because the strangers fear light, so they keep the city in constant darkness. After some time, they reach Shell Beach, but it turns out to be just a picture on a wall. Angry, Murdoch and Inspector Bumstead grab some metal bars and start hitting the wall. The doctor pleads with them to stop, but they ignore him. Finally, they smash through the wall and are shocked to discover endless space on the other side. This confirms that the city is merely an experiment, and there's no way to escape it. Suddenly, Mr. Hand and his associates show up, holding Emma hostage and demanding Murdoch's surrender. The inspector fights back but is thrown into the dark and sees the city floating in space surrounded by darkness. They realize the city is actually a massive spaceship. Mr. Hand captures Murdoch after using Emma as leverage. Then, Murdoch is tied to a chair while the entire group of strangers, including their leader Mr. Book, call for his death. However, Mr. Book has a different plan. He orders Dr. Schreiber to inject Murdoch with an imprint, transferring his soul into all the strangers. Reluctantly, the doctor agrees, but instead of the imprint, he injects Murdoch with a syringe containing all his memories. Instantly, Murdoch's memories flood back, revealing he was born in Shell Beach. Understanding his true power, Murdoch gains strength. In one memory, Dr. Schreiber encourages him to defeat the strangers and take control of the city. With newfound hope, Murdoch breaks free from his restraints. Afterward, Murdoch begins using his telekinetic abilities to toss the strangers around until Mr. Book confronts him. They engage in a fierce fight, destroying the entire compound. Taking their battle into the air, Murdoch and Mr. Book seem evenly matched. However, Murdoch gains control of the situation when he deflects Mr. Book's knife and sends it back at him, ultimately defeating and killing him. After winning the battle, Murdoch approaches the doctor and inquires about Emma. However, the doctor reveals that she lost her memory during the last tuning. Devastated by this news, Murdoch comes up with an idea to change everything. Using his incredible telekinetic abilities, Murdoch completely transforms the city. He surrounds it with an ocean, fixes the bridges, constructs a shell beach, and most importantly, restores the sun by rotating the spaceship. As Murdoch heads to Shell Beach, he meets Mr. Hand and tells him that the strangers have been looking in the wrong place, focusing on the mind to understand humanity. Murdoch opens the door leading out of the city and steps into sunlight for the first time. At the dock, he finds Emma, now with different memories and a new identity as Anna, not remembering Murdoch. They introduce themselves again and walk to Shell Beach, starting their relationship from scratch. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.